All right, so Alex walks into a currency exchange booth. He's got $100 in his pocket. Now in Germany, he gets 90 euros. But in Vietnam, 25 million dong. I mean, same Benjamin Franklin sitting in his wallet, right? But suddenly, it's worth completely different amounts depending on which country he's standing in. And here's what really messes with your head. You know when you refresh that exchange rate website, the numbers are already different, like every single second. So what's going on here? Is money just, I don't know, made up? Well, spoiler alert, kinda yeah. But the rabbit hole goes way deeper than you think. Okay, so let me rewind about 100 years or so. Back then, money actually made sense. Like every dollar bill was basically just an IOU for actual gold sitting in a vault somewhere. You could literally walk into a bank and be like, hey, I want gold, and they'd swap your paper money for shiny gold bars. This was called the gold standard, and yeah, it kept things pretty stable. But then, governments realized something. Wars, expensive. Economic growth, also expensive. And there's only so much gold in the world, right? So in the 1970s, countries did something kinda wild. They just decided money didn't need gold anymore. Your dollar is now worth something because the government pinky promises it is. That's it. That's literally the whole system. This is called fiat money. Some people actually call it fake money, and honestly, they're not completely wrong. But before you freak out, let me explain why this fake money still works. Here's the thing about fiat money. It's basically a popularity contest. Like if everyone wants US dollars, dollars become valuable. If nobody wants Venezuelan bolivars, well, Venezuela literally had people using their cash as wallpaper because it was worth more as decoration than as money. True story, by the way. So what makes people actually want a currency? Let's break down the factors that turn money into either gold or, garbage. All right, imagine you're playing Monopoly, right? But the banker keeps sneaking extra bills into the game when nobody's looking. Eventually, that $500 doesn't feel special anymore, does it? That's inflation. So like in 2022, your $10 bought 2 loaves of bread. But in 2024, just 1 loaf. Save money, less buying power. Your cash is literally melting in your hands. Now check this out. In the 1980s, Zimbabwe's currency was actually stronger than the US dollar. 1 Zimbabwean dollar equaled $1.35 American. Fast forward to the 2000s, 1 US dollar equaled 600,000 Zimbabwean dollars. They printed money so recklessly that they ended up with $100 trillion bills that couldn't even buy a loaf of bread. Eventually, they just gave up, started using other countries' money instead. Plot twist though, Zimbabwe is trying to bring back their currency. Gotta respect the persistence, I guess. Now here's where things get spicy. Central banks have this weapon called interest rates, and when they use it, entire currencies can rise or fall. Here's how it works. Let's say you can invest $1,000 in US bonds at 5%, or German bonds at 2%. Where are you putting your money? Exactly. You're buying US dollars to invest in America. When everyone does this, US dollar shoots up in value. But here's the catch. And this is why everyone holds their breath when, this guy announces interest rate changes. High interest rates are like steroids for your currency, but poison for your economy. Why? Because when borrowing money gets expensive, people stop buying houses. Businesses stop expanding. The whole economy can just grind to a halt. So central banks are constantly walking this tightrope, trying not to fall off either side. One wrong move and, well, let's just say people lose jobs. Okay, pop quiz for you. Would you invest your life savings in a country that changes its laws every 6 months? Where protests shut down cities? Where the government might just seize your factory tomorrow? Yeah, me neither. This is why China's economic boom in the late 70s was so massive. They opened up, foreign companies poured in, and suddenly everyone needed Chinese yuan to do business there. Demand for yuan skyrocketed. China got rich. Simple. But here's what people don't realize. When companies invest in China, they're not just bringing money. They're bringing jobs, technology, knowledge. It's like a snowball effect that makes the whole country stronger. That's why pretty much every country on Earth is just begging foreign investors like, please do business here. Stability isn't sexy, but it's what makes currencies survive.
Now we get to the really sneaky stuff. When Japan sells a car to America, America needs Japanese yen to pay for it. More demand for yen equals stronger yen. Pretty straightforward, right? But here's where the US pulled off one of the greatest economic chess moves in history. They convinced Saudi Arabia and other oil countries to only accept US dollars for oil. Think about that for a second. Every country on Earth needs oil, which means every country needs US dollars. Boom. Instant global dominance. This is called the petrodollar, and it's a huge reason why America became the world's economic superpower. Meanwhile, tiny countries like Tuvalu that don't export much, they just gave up, started using other countries' money. Can't beat them, join them, I guess. Though there are rumors Saudi Arabia is thinking about accepting other currencies now, so things might be changing. We'll see. All right, so managing a currency sounds exhausting, right? Inflation, interest rates, exports, imports. What if there was an easier way? There is. It's called pegging. Brunei looked at Singapore and basically said, you know what, your dollar seems stable. Let's just make our dollar exactly equal to yours. 1-to-1. Done. And boom, instant stability. You can literally use Singapore dollars in Brunei and vice versa. Belize did the same thing with the US dollar, except they set it at 2-to-1. Super simple. If you have one US dollar, you get exactly 2 Belize dollars. No complicated exchange rates, no checking websites every 5 minutes. But here's the dark side. Your economy is now handcuffed to another country. If the US dollar crashes, the Belize dollar crashes with it. You live together, you die together. No escape. So at this point, you're probably thinking, why don't we just have one currency for the whole world? Make everything simple. Great question, terrible idea. Let me show you why. Look at the euro. It works great when you're traveling around Europe, no more annoying currency exchanges. But here's what happened. Greece messed up their economy in 2009. Because they share a currency with Germany, France, and everyone else, Greece's problems became everyone's problems. Germany was basically forced to help bail out Greece because if Greece's economy exploded, it would take the euro down with it. Imagine having to pay for another country's mistakes just because you share the same money. Now scale that up to the entire world. One country screws up on the other side of the planet and suddenly your money is worthless. Your job disappears. Your savings evaporate. All because of someone else's bad decisions. Yeah, maybe separate currencies aren't so bad after all. Final mindbender for you. Should countries try to make their currency as strong as possible? Plot twist, not necessarily. Singapore imports almost everything, so they want a strong currency. Makes foreign stuff cheaper. China exports everything, so they actually want a weaker currency. Makes their products cheaper for other countries to buy. In fact, China's been accused of purposely weakening their currency to sell more stuff globally. It's called currency devaluation, and it's basically economic warfare. Countries are literally fighting over whether their money should be strong or weak. There's no right answer. It depends on what your country needs. So, there you have it. Money is not just paper. It's a battleground, a popularity contest, a weapon, a promise, and sometimes just expensive wallpaper. Every second, these invisible forces are pushing and pulling currencies in different directions. Your dollar, it's not the same dollar it was when you started watching this video. Still curious about how China actually manipulates its currency? Want to know if the petrodollar is really dying? Wondering how Zimbabwe's currency experiment is going? Drop a comment. I'll make those videos, because once you start seeing how money really works, well, you can't unsee it.